Hey, did you know that multitasking actually makes you less productive?
Are you freaking serious right now?
You didn't? Well, girl, let me tell you something. It's been a while for me to actually be able to figure it out, but I finally can say that I figured out why, and I actually did my research. For the longest time, I was trying to do 300,000 things simultaneously at the same time, being on the phone, listening to a podcast, writing something in my journal while reading something from the screen, and I was thinking that I'm excelling in life. Like, I was thinking that I'm doing something that just makes me, I don't know, better. Something that makes me more productive. Meanwhile, all along, I was actually doing harm to myself. So in this video, we are going to talk about why multitasking is not the way to go, why multitasking is bullcrap from a scientific point of view and from my point of view. So let's get into it. Neuroscientists have been telling us all along that humans cannot multitask. It's a myth. Our brain can only focus on one cognitively demanding task at a time. So when we're trying to jump from one task to another, we call it multitasking, when actually what we're doing is just jumping from one thing to another. Most of the time, not even doing these things very efficiently and very well. I don't know if you guys ever watched yourself doing something and then kind of multitasking, jumping from one thing to another, only to find out you did a really sloppy job eventually everywhere. And I often notice it when I'm trying to listen to a podcast while doing some other things at the same time that requires my cognitive everything to be present at a moment, and then looking back, it's just every single thing that I do simultaneously, calling it multitasking, calling myself cool, thinking that I'm amazing for doing all these things simultaneously. I did a sloppy job at all of them. So many of us continue to hopscotching from one thing to another, calling ourselves productive, calling it multitasking, while all we're doing is actually just doing a sloppy job on every single thing we are working with and not being productive at all whatsoever. I read this book, not in English, so it's called Organized Brain. It might be a little different in English, I don't know. I'll attach a picture somewhere here. But in this book, it basically says that every single time we try to multitask and when we switch from one thing to another, we need to regain that focus. In order for our brain to regain that same level of focus, we need 20-something minutes. So we pretty much, if you're hopscotching from one thing to another, we pretty much are never in a state of focus because we don't even spend enough time on one thing while our brain is switching to another thing, hasn't been able to focus on that second thing, we're switching it back to the first one, and we're just hopscotching back and forth and never actually do a good job anywhere. When I stopped demanding for myself to multitask, I have been feeling so much better in my work life, in my personal life, in my leisure time. I know we live in a very fast-paced environment where everybody's trying to outrun each other, outwork each other, out-success each other. I know. And it feels really hard to not do anything when you're sitting here and when you're seeing all these people doing something and living the time of their lives, achieving all of their goals, doing everything they want to do, and you're just in there, I cannot afford myself another minute of just laying on the couch doing nothing. Well, actually you can, and you have to, and people do it unless you're Elon Musk. There are 2.5% of people, high-end chefs or athletes or some sort of pilots. I think it's army pilots or military pilots or whatever. Those are people that are called super taskers or something. There's actually 2.5% of people in the world, right, out of 8 billion people as for now, who can actually focus on several things at the same time. Their brain is just I don't know, they have a super brain. They are able to do it. Most of us people cannot. I know we love to think of ourselves as, well, I'm that 1%, I'm that 2.5%. Well, most likely we're not. I feel so much better now, allowing myself to relax, allowing myself not to spend every second of my day doing something that I think is productive, allowing myself to focus on one thing at a time, not worrying about anything else. Although I am a very busy girl, I have a pretty stressful job at times. It can be pretty demanding, pretty stressful. I have school, I have my personal life, I have things to do, I have sports, I have exercising, I have other things that are always in my brain. So I used to be a person who would always multitask, and then at the end of the week when I was looking back, I was like, well, that was a sloppy job, I didn't really do well here, I didn't really do well there, and like I still was not satisfied with the outcome that I had. Now that I actually monotask, which is doing one task at a time, I can say that I'm doing my tasks very efficiently, and I feel so much more satisfaction with myself and where I'm going, what I'm doing. So we need to go back to monotasking, and this is not just me talking something out of nowhere. You can actually look it up, read some articles and stuff like this. I'm telling you, I did my research, and I also have a lot of experience of living a horrible life of trying to be everywhere simultaneously at the same time, doing all these things. And now I'm living a more calm, more reserved life, and I enjoyed so much more than I did back when I used to multitask every single hour of my life. So the question is, how do we get back to monotasking? How do we stop multitasking when it's everywhere? When it's encouraged, when 99% of resumes probably have the multitasking as one of their good qualities of a potential employee or something. So how do we go back to monotasking? We need to start tackling one thing at a time. First of all, avoid distractions, especially your phone. First step is weaning ourselves from distractions. Turn your phone off, put it on no disturb mode. I do that all the time. Put your phone on no disturb mode. You will not be sitting at your computer studying for your exam and then doing like this all the time, because you're like, oh, did he text me? Did she text me? Did they text me? Did this post get many likes? We're not gonna do that. Oh, email, I have to check. Oh my god, yeah. And then you check your phone, you check your emails, and then you check this, and then you check that, and then 2 hours later you end up on TikTok, not having finished anything. We want to avoid that. So avoid distractions. Put your phone in a do not disturb mode. Do not touch it until you're done. Same goes for any other things that pop up on your screen. That could be notifications from Teams. I don't know. Just turn off notifications. Focus on one thing and put yourself away from everything else that can potentially even slightly distract your brain. Remember this thing that I read in this book, Organized Brain? Your brain, if it has focused on something and you distract it to something else, girl, you have like 20 something minutes to put your brain back in the same state you were like 10 seconds ago, because you lost all your attention. So do not allow yourself to get distracted. Another thing about phone notifications or any notifications in general, we have grown to crave the notifications coming, because we're like lacking. We need this dopamine spike because we're like sitting here doing some boring stuff, doing something very casual, something not as exciting, and then something pops out on the screen. Oops, dopamine level rise up, right? And we are growing, like we're grown to crave this notifications. So this is kind of like an addiction. Look at it as heroin addiction, I don't know, whatever the heck addiction. Look at it this way. It's the same thing about this phone notifications or any other notifications that can potentially distract you. So make sure to put that phone, turn it off, put it away, put it in a, I don't know, put it in a drawer, put it somewhere else, put it in another room, okay? Or at least if you don't, if you feel that bad doing this, just put on do not disturb mode, and that's it, girl. You may ask, how on earth am I supposed to focus on one thing which might take me like 2 hours? Am I just gonna be sitting at my desk for 2 hours not doing anything? No. Try Pomodoro. Pomodoro saved my life. I'm telling y'all, Pomodoro is one best thing. I've been doing it for probably about at least 2 years now. It's incredible. This is the way I'm a busy girl. I told you, I have a job, I have classes. I'm studying as a software engineer. My classes are not easy, okay? And I'm a junior. My classes are not easy. Last semester, I had good grades. I had A's and B's. I had 1 A, the rest were B's. The semester before the previous one, I had all A's and 1 B. So I'm doing good at school. I'm doing well. Yes, I'm not 4.0 GPA, but I will try to. I have my work, which is pretty stressful at times. I have sports, exercising, looking good every single day, waking up, doing my makeup, excelling at this, excelling at that, doing good here, doing good there. I'm telling you from my own experience with results, with good outcomes. I'm telling you, I'm a good student, I'm a good worker, I have a good job, yada, yada, yada. I'm telling you, try Pomodoro. Pomodoro is amazing. Give yourself 20 minutes focus on one task only. Put your phone away, turn off the notifications, just sit there, focus on this one thing for 20 minutes, and then take a 5-minute break. Because Pomodoro is weird. It's like 20 minutes and then like 5-minute break, 25 minutes, like 10 minutes. Honestly, if you feel like you need 10 minutes, it's okay. Especially when you're just starting. If you need 10 minutes, that's okay. Do not like, you don't have to follow it to the T, right? Like, okay, give yourself 30 minutes, 10 minutes of doing something else. The only thing is when you're taking this little break, whether it be 5 minutes or 10 minutes, has got to be something outside of the whole work realm. If you want to go make yourself a drink, if you want to, I don't know, just walk, just, I don't know, like, just something that will absolutely distract you from work or whatever you have been working on. Absolutely will distract you from that. Do that for like 5 to 10 minutes. Go back to your task until you complete it. I mean, like for 20 more minutes, right? Or 25 more minutes or 30 more minutes, whatever you want to make it. Then go back, have a little rest, have a little break, and then get back to work. Pomodoro is amazing in keeping you focused. You honestly, at this point, if you're just starting off and you have really bad problems with multitasking, which distracts you, thus procrastination, everything, try 10 minutes. Just give yourself, okay, try 5 minutes. Give yourself 5 minutes. The task you're so dreadful of doing, give yourself 5 minutes, not more than that. Just tell yourself, I'm gonna give myself 5 minutes of non-distracted work. After 5 minutes, I'll give it up and might never come back to it. But give yourself at least 5 minutes. I promise you, 85% of the time, you'll keep doing the work. You'll keep doing the work. You will understand it's not as dreadful as you thought it would be. It's not as scary, and you will keep going. I read about a few studies that have been done on groups of people, and some of them were like walking in some forest or park or kind of thing. Some of them were on the phone. Some of them were just like walking and enjoying the nature and the outdoors and everything. In the end of the study, the group that was on their phones, they were less relaxed, they were less chill, they were less, just they felt more stressful than people who just walked without any distractions, who just enjoyed the nature and the air and just the pure walking situation. There was also another study with driving, people who would like kind of reply text. Texting while driving is dumb. That's the first thing. If you're text while driving, you should, the least thing I'm gonna say is that you should not be doing this, okay? Another thing I'm gonna say is regarding the study. So people who were distracted, like on the phone, replying to some text messages or something, they would brake sloppy, they would start hitting other cars. Of course, that was done in a simulator, right? Not on the real world, God forbid. But like they would start just hitting other cars. It was just like really sloppy. People who had no distractions did it much less, like significantly less than people who were distracted. Again, there are 2.5% people in the world who can be called super taskers. Most likely we, fortunately or unfortunately, not some of them. So we're out here sitting with 12 half-finished emails, 13,000 tabs open in Google Chrome, and if you don't want to be like this, and if you want to get the most out of your working process, if you want to get the most out of whatever you're working with, try monotasking and actually let me know how it works, whether it worked for you or whether it didn't. I would be glad to know. I'd be happy to know because it worked for me. I'm pretty sure it worked for anybody else. Well, I think that's it, and I hope you guys liked this video. I hope you guys learned something new today, and I hope you guys will really try monotasking and seeing how your mood changes, how your life changes, how your productivity level changes. I'll see you in my next one. Thanks for watching.